Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how you do work on multiplying and dividing fractions. This is the third video in the series of fractions, and this is aimed at GCSE Foundation candidates. If you want more information you can contact me at Mr_G_Walton on Twitter, or you can ask on our school account at Tupton Maths. So in this video what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at multiplying or dividing a fraction by a whole number. So you're going to get a fraction, it might say times 3 or 4 or something, or a fraction divided by 2, 3, 5, whatever it might be. We're also going to look at multiplying or dividing two fractions together. So a fraction multiplied by another fraction, or a fraction divided by another fraction. And finally, the question that you're going to have a go at yourself is to be able to use these skills but in a functional style exam question. These are the ones that tend to be quite wordy and you're not quite sure exactly what to do, but it'll be really good practice to put the skills that you've learned in the video into practice. So let's make a start. On example 1 it says calculate giving your answers in their simplest form. We've got 2/9 times by 3. So 3 lots of 2/9. Now 3 lots of 2/9 means, and I'm going to do it once like this just so you can see, this is 2 lots of 2/9, 3 lots of 2/9. Now from previous videos we know that if our bottoms of the fractions are the same, then all we need to do is add the tops, and so what we get is 6/9. Now, is there a way that we could have done that in one go? Because if I'd got 15 of these 2/9, I wouldn't want to write this out 15 times. It's silly, there's got to be a quicker way. Notice that the answer, 6/9, is the same as if we just multiplied 2 by the 3. That would have given us 6/9. Now, what we haven't yet done is simplified it. So this is the next step. 6/9 is the same as, now is there a number that goes into 6 and into 9? Yes, there is 3. 3 goes into 6 twice. Get my pen back. 3 goes into 6 twice, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. So my answer is 2/3. Okay, so if we've got a fraction and we're multiplying it by a whole number like this, we just times the top two numbers and the bottom number stays the same. Okay, let's have a look, see what we're doing on this fraction here. Here I've got 2/3 multiplied by not a whole number but another fraction, a 9th. Now this is, you'll like this, this is what you want to do when you're adding fractions. What people instinctively want to do is add the tops and add the bottoms, and in previous videos I've said never ever do that. But when we're timesing, it's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to multiply the tops and get 2, we're going to multiply the bottoms and get 27, and that's my final answer, 2/27. It doesn't cancel down, and I know it doesn't cancel down because 2 doesn't go into 27. So that's the final part. This time we're going to look at dividing. It's not very clear on the video, but this says a half divided by 3. Okay, so let's have a think about what this means. Dividing by 3 means splitting up into 3 piles, or sharing by 3. So if I've got a half and I'm sharing by 3, each person is going to get something smaller than a half. Now, what we said last time was if we were multiplying, we just deal with the tops. Remember that this line here is a divide already, and so this time the 3 is going to come down the bottom down here, and we're going to end up multiplying. You might want to think of it the same as saying that dividing by 2 is the same as timesing by a half. In this case, dividing by 3 is going to be the same as multiplying by a third. So let's do that. We've got a half multiplied by a third, which is the same as 1/6. Now let's just check to see if the answer makes sense. We started off with a half and we're splitting it into 3 different people. or 3 different groups if you like. Let's draw ourselves a little picture so we can see. This is a half. On this side we've got a half here, and on the other side we've got a half as well. If I'm splitting it off into 3, each person is going to get one of these pieces here, which you might be able to see is 1/6. Okay, so one person is going to get a sixth. A third of a half is a sixth. Okay, let's have a look, see what happens on the next one then. So we have 6/7 divided by 4. Dividing by 4 is the same as multiplying by a quarter. So 6/7 multiplied by a quarter. Times the tops, times the bottoms, and cancel down if we can. I can see that we can divide the top and bottom by 2. So this is going to give us 3/14. 3 doesn't go into 14, so that's my final answer. 3/14. Right, example 3 then. This time we're dividing by fractions, but it's not a whole number this time. And so we're going to have to think very carefully about what's going to go on. 3/8 divided by 2/5. Now before I said that if it were divided by a whole number, it was the same as multiplying by 1 over that number. And the proper word for this is the reciprocal. So, reciprocal. You might be asked this in an exam about what a reciprocal is. A reciprocal is 1 divided by the number. Now, if you take 1 divided by 2/5, maybe you do it on your calculator, it will tell you that that's 5/2. It's taken the fraction and it's turned it upside down. It's found the inverse of it, or the reciprocal. And a reciprocal, all it means are numbers multiplied together to give 1. So numbers that multiply together to give you 1. I'll just do this over here. 2/5 multiplied by 5/2 is 10/10, and 10/10 is 1. So what we're going to do, this is a bit of a background information as to why we can do this, but this is what we're going to do. We're going to take 3/8 here. We're then going to multiply it by not 2/5, but the reciprocal of it. We're going to turn this fraction upside down. So 5/2. That's going to give me 15/16. And that's all I need to do. Job done. Let's do the same on the next one. We've got 3/5 divided by 2/3. That's the same as 3/5 multiplied by, I'm going to take this fraction, turn it upside down, finding the reciprocal of it. So 3/2 is going to give me 9/10. Again, done. Okay, so if you want to write out a few of these, you're more than welcome to just have a go and practice them. You'll find all kinds of questions like this, and your classroom teacher will give you hundreds of examples, questions to practice. But fundamentally, you've learnt the right skills here. So if you're multiplying fractions, you're multiplying the tops, multiplying the bottoms. If you're dividing fractions, it's the second one that turns upside down and then becomes a times. Right. I want you to have a go at this one. This is a wordy question, so think really carefully about what's going on. It says James is planning a camping holiday for 24 people. Each person is going to need 2/3 of a pint of milk each day. So 24 lots of 2/3. Think about how you're going to do that. The holiday is then going to last for 6 days. Work out how many pints of milk will be needed altogether. Show you're working clearly. Okay, so pause the video, have a go at it, and I'll show you how to do it in a minute. Okay, so I'm hoping what you've realised is that you've got 24 lots of 2/3. So 24 multiplied by 2/3. Well, 24 multiplied by 2/3 is 48 thirds. 48 over 3. And it also says the holiday is going to last for 6 days. Now, before we deal with the 6 days, is there anything that we can do with this? What does this line here mean? It means divide by. So how many 3's go into 48 is the next bit. So we've got 48 divided by 3, which you can use your bus stop method for if you don't know. 3's into 4 go 1, remainder 1. 3's into 18 is 6. 48 divided by 3 is 16. So we've worked out a bit of the sum. What does this 16 mean? Well, each person is going to need 2/3 of a pint of milk each day. So we need 16 pints of milk each day. So 16 pints each day. And it's worth writing these things down as you go, making sense of the maths that you've just done. The holiday lasts for 6 days. So now we've got 16 multiplied by 6, and you can use whichever method you like here. You're going to end up with 96 pints. Okay, if you got that answer, really well done. This is not a particularly easy question, but these are more and more likely to appear on your GCSE papers, the wordy questions, rather than just do this, do this. Okay, well done. As ever, at the end of the videos, I always like to give some revision card notes. Make a note of the things on the right hand side. When multiplying fractions, your times in the tops and bottoms. When dividing by a whole number, it's like multiplying by 1 over the whole number, or dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by half, we saw that. And we're dividing a fraction by another fraction, turn the second fraction upside down and make it a multiply. And if you want to give yourself a quick example, you can do a half multiplied by a quarter, or a quarter of a half, or a half of a quarter if you prefer, which is an eighth. And you might want to do another example where you've got 3 over 8 multiplied by 2, which is the same as 6 over 8, or 3/4. And you might want to give yourself another example where we're doing a division. So a half divided by 3/8 is the same as a half multiplied by 8 over 3, which is 8 over 6, or 1 and a third. Now, if you're not sure how I got from 8 over 6 to 1 over a third, then check out some of the other videos on cancelling down. Okay, good luck with any exams that you've got coming up soon, and if you need anything, get in touch. Otherwise, see you soon. Bye.